Welcome to This Explainer. Look, if you've already checked your phone, I don't know, a dozen times today, or maybe felt a little sting when a post just didn't get the reaction you were hoping for, you are absolutely not alone. We live in this world where our screens are constantly demanding our attention, right? And it's so incredibly easy to beat ourselves up and feel guilty about our digital habits. But today, we're taking a compassionate look at the science behind why we do what we do. We're going to unpack the completely fascinating neurobiology of our digital lives, and I promise, by the end of this explainer, you're going to see exactly why these modern habits of ours are so deeply ingrained in our biology.
I really want you to hold on to this specific thought. A like is a number, but your brain treats it like being accepted by the tribe. You know, we so often brush off social media as just this trivial pastime, a way to kill 5 minutes. But to your brain's ancient evolutionary hardware, a digital notification is not just a flashing light on a screen. It is a profound, fundamental signal of social survival. Because think about it, for almost all of human history, being accepted by your tribe literally meant the difference between life and death, right? If you were liked, you were protected, you were fed, you were safe. Well, today, those primal survival needs have found digital equivalents. These social media platforms have managed to successfully digitize and completely quantify our fundamental human need for connection. So when you get a new follower or a sudden flurry of likes, your brain's mesolimbic pathway, which is the exact same primary reward circuit that lights up when you find calorie-dense food or win money, gets fully activated. You aren't just easily distracted. Your biology is simply doing exactly what it evolved to do. Okay, let's dive into this neurochemistry a bit. We hear a lot about dopamine, right? It's usually called the reward molecule. But what makes dopamine so incredibly relevant to social media is its central role in the anticipation of a reward, not actually just the experience of pleasure itself. So when your phone buzzes with that familiar notification sound, it triggers this massive surge of anticipatory dopamine. Your brain's reward centers are lighting up with the mere possibility of social validation before you even pick up the device or actually see the message. And this anticipation builds into a really powerful behavioral loop. The dopamine cycle essentially has 4 distinct steps. First up is the cue, so that ping or buzz. Second is the action, you reach into your pocket, you check your phone. Third is anticipation, that tiny microsecond loading screen, or maybe those little typing bubbles. And finally, the reward, the actual social validation of a like, a comment, or a shared post. Now, this neurological loop is so incredibly fast, and it requires virtually zero effort, which means it repeatedly and powerfully reinforces the habit of checking our screens, creating this intense, perpetual motivational state. To show you just how deeply this runs, neuroscientists from UCLA and Harvard actually mapped the brains of teenagers while they were scrolling through social media. And what they found was that when users saw their own photos with a large number of likes, it activated the nucleus accumbens and the ventral striatum. Now, these are the exact same regions of the brain that fire up when you eat a delicious slice of chocolate cake or win big at a slot machine. The brain is quite literally trained to view social media as this highly rewarding, incredibly pleasurable activity. Section 1, engineered for compulsive checking. And this brilliantly illustrates our shift from the natural biology of belonging to the very intentional technology of the attention economy. These neurochemical reactions, they absolutely do not happen by accident. Sometimes, engineers intentionally alter the delivery of your social validation. For example, it's been reported that notification algorithms will sometimes purposefully withhold likes on your photos initially. Why would they do that? Well, so they can deliver them to you in a much larger burst hours later. Your dopamine centers get primed by that initial disappointment, so when that sudden, massive influx of likes finally arrives, your brain responds with an incredibly robust neurochemical surge. So, revealing the man behind the curtain a bit here, this is actually known as a variable ratio reinforcement schedule. It's a psychological principle first identified back in the 1930s by behaviorist B.F. Skinner. Skinner found that animals respond the most intensely when rewards are given unpredictably. And, well, humans are no different. Because we never quite know exactly when our post will get engagement or just how much it will get, we get trapped in what psychologists call ludic loops. It's literally the digital equivalent of pulling a slot machine lever. This state of perpetual, unpredictable anticipation is the exact mechanism driving that very familiar just one more scroll phenomenon. Section 2, externalizing our self-worth. So, we have this incredibly sophisticated technology hacking directly into our primal reward systems. But what happens when the things that trigger our dopamine are entirely tied to how other people perceive us? Let's look at the psychological toll this system takes on our emotional regulation. I want to pause here for just a second. Think about your last post. How did it actually feel when it didn't get the likes you expected? Just let that feeling sit for a moment. That psychological weight, that slate drop in your stomach. So the crucial point is that this feeling is the direct result of externalizing our self-worth. As we become more and more accustomed to numerical validation, our self-esteem slowly shifts from intrinsic self-acceptance to external approval. Relying on these numbers often leads to anxiety and depressive symptoms. The quest for likes basically becomes a proxy for our status, and this leads to constant upward social comparisons, a really heightened emotional sensitivity, the fear of missing out, or FOMO, and ultimately, we start creating content not based on our authentic expression, but entirely based on what we think will just generate the highest engagement metrics.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how clinical researchers actually measured this emotional toll. They set up a simulated social media environment, a fake book basically. Over the course of a week, they put people in this simulated environment to track their daily emotional responses to likes. Participants interacted, posted, and received likes from what they thought were peers, but were actually completely controlled bots.
The findings from this study are incredibly telling. Participants in the treatment group that received many likes, so about 4 to 5 per post, reported feeling very welcomed and valued by the community. But the group that received few likes, just 0 or 1 per post, had a vastly different experience. Even though this was a completely simulated environment with strangers, participants receiving few likes felt significantly less connected to their peers and reported much higher feelings of outright rejection. Section 3. The hidden likes experiments. Obviously, the scientific community and even the tech giants themselves couldn't just ignore this growing mental health crisis. So in recent years, major platforms have experimented with fundamentally altering their designs. To summarize some of these experiments, Instagram began hiding total like counts in several countries, including the US and Canada, aimed specifically at depressurizing the app and reducing social comparison and user anxiety. YouTube also completely hid the public dislike counter to protect creators from targeted cyber attacks. And both Facebook and Twitter ran similar experiments removing public metrics to try and stop the platforms from feeling like constant high-stakes popularity contests.
But changing the entire digital ecosystem really isn't that simple. As cognitive neurologists point out, taking away likes basically takes away our reference points. While hiding these metrics might improve well-being and reduce anxiety, it fundamentally alters how users actually interact with content. It forces a total recalibration of the attention economy, upending how influencers gauge their reach and how advertisers do business. It just proves exactly how structural the like has become to the modern internet.
Section 4. Reclaiming our reward circuits.
Understanding this whole system is really the first step in reclaiming our autonomy. There is both a physical and a psychological imperative to break or at least manage this digital cycle, because the physical toll of all this overstimulation is very real. Constantly flooding your brain with instant, effortless gratification acts just like any other addiction. Over time, it leads to decreased dopamine receptor sensitivity. Your brain literally builds a tolerance, and this can result in anhedonia, which is an inability to feel natural pleasure from everyday, non-digital activities. Because chronic overstimulation from digital instant gratification requires increasingly more likes to achieve the exact same feeling, it ultimately dulls our natural flavors of joy. Ultimately, knowledge is our best defense here. The next time you find yourself mindlessly scrolling or eagerly waiting for a notification, just remember that your brain is simply doing its job, but you have the power to put the phone down. And now, to conclude with the absolute ultimate irony, given the very systems we all live within, if you found this explainer valuable, please feed our algorithmic dopamine loop by liking this explainer and subscribing to the channel. It genuinely helps us out. But before you tap that button, really ask yourself, are you using your devices today, or are your devices using you? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you in the next one.